There's a question that haunts us all. When you're 80, looking back, what will you truly regret? Will it be the deals you didn't close, the extra hour you didn't put in, or the life you never dared to live? For one woman, this question became the spark that ignited a revolution in American fashion, transforming her from a high-flying Wall Street executive into an icon of ethical luxury. This is the story of Aysha Saeed, a woman who traded private jets and multi-million-dollar finance deals for the hum of sewing machines and the smell of fresh textiles, proving that some dreams are worth far more than any corporate title. To truly understand Aysha's extraordinary journey, we have to travel back to where it all began, a place rich with history and vibrant culture. Lahore, Pakistan. Imagine a city where the air itself is thick with the aromas of spices, where centuries-old traditions weave through daily life like intricate embroidery. This was little Aysha's world, a world steeped in heritage and family. But when she was just 12 years old, her entire universe shifted on its axis. Her family made the life-altering decision to move, not just to another city, but to another continent, landing in the quiet, unassuming town of Secaucus, New Jersey. Picture a 12-year-old girl plucked from everything familiar, dropped into a completely alien landscape. The culture shock must have been immense. A new school, a new rhythm of life, and a language that at first must have sounded like a torrent of foreign noise. The rules of this new game, the unspoken social codes, weren't written in any textbook. For an immigrant girl trying to find her footing in this bewildering new world, fashion quickly became her first and perhaps most important teacher. Aysha realized something profound and practical. To be truly heard, to have her voice matter, she first needed to be seen correctly. Clothing wasn't just about covering her body. It became her linguistic code, a secret language she quickly learned to decipher. She started to literally read American culture through how her peers dressed, absorbing the nuances of style, fit, and trend. Fashion wasn't a frivolous pursuit. It was a survival mechanism. It was a way to blend in, to mask her differences, to stop being a perpetual outsider, all hidden behind the right pair of jeans or the perfect graphic tee. It was her armor in a world she was still learning to navigate. But like thousands of other immigrant families, Aysha's parents had a very specific vision for their daughter's future. Success in America wasn't just about fitting in, it was about stability. And stability, in their eyes, meant a clear, secure path. Finance, an MBA, and a high-powered job in a gleaming corporate tower. Aysha, ever the dutiful daughter, followed this path. She aced her studies, earned her MBA, and then she stormed Wall Street. She wasn't just good, she was phenomenal. Aysha worked 18-hour days, driven by a fierce intelligence and an unwavering work ethic. She flew on private jets, rubbing shoulders with the top executives of major corporations, making deals that shifted markets and made headlines. From the outside, looking in, it was the ultimate triumph of the American dream. A young immigrant woman against all odds, reaching the pinnacle of financial success. She had the corner office, the power suits, the respect, and the money. What more could anyone want? But beneath the polished surface, a quiet, insidious emptiness began to grow. Aysha herself would later admit that every time she looked in the mirror, dressed in her impeccably tailored, yet ultimately soulless, office suit, she saw a stranger. She had accumulated every marker of success the world could offer, but in the process, she felt like she was losing herself, piece by agonizing piece. The girl from Lahore, the one with the dreams hidden deep inside, was suffocating under the weight of expectations and corporate conformity. And that's when, at the absolute peak of her high-flying career, the question hit her like a lightning bolt. Will I regret this when I'm 80? That hypothetical 80-year-old woman sitting by a window, looking back at a life of finance deals and corporate triumphs, but devoid of personal fulfillment. The fear of that profound, irreversible regret turned out to be far stronger, far more potent than the fear of losing her stable, multi-million-dollar salary, her prestigious title, or her hard-earned status. The corporate ladder, which she had climbed so expertly, now felt less like a path to the sky and more like a cage. She decided to leave, to walk away from a world she had mastered for an industry where she had no connections, no formal training, and absolutely no guarantees. It was a leap of faith, a terrifying plunge into the unknown, driven by an unshakable inner voice that demanded she reclaim her true self. This was not just a career change, it was an act of profound self-liberation. Aysha wouldn't be Aysha if she simply opened a small, local atelier. Her approach was always total immersion. If she was going to do fashion, she was going to do it right, at the highest level. So she packed her bags again and moved to Milan, Italy, a city where fashion isn't just an industry. It's a religion, woven into the very fabric of daily life. There, she didn't just learn, she built. She opened a consulting company, ingeniously designed to be a bridge between the rarefied world of European luxury and the exquisite, often overlooked craftsmanship of South Asian artisans. This wasn't just business, it was a mission. She traveled extensively, venturing into the tiny, often dusty workshops in India and Pakistan, places where families had been creating incredible embroideries, weaving breathtaking fabrics, and perfecting ancient techniques for generations, passing down secrets that were priceless. Her task was monumental, seemingly impossible, to translate the delicate, almost magical culture of Eastern craftsmanship into the precise, often rigid, language of Western high fashion. She didn't speak Italian fluently, but that didn't stop her. She literally knocked on doors, showing up unannounced at the great fashion houses, studios that typically ignored all newcomers. She made cold calls to legendary designers, and she often arrived with huge suitcases, not of clothes, but of fabric samples, each one a testament to the artistry she had discovered. And her sheer stubborn persistence worked. The quality of the craftsmanship, the beauty of the materials she presented, spoke a universal language. Her samples found their way into the hands of none other than Giorgio Armani himself. Soon after, orders began to pour in from iconic brands like Christian Dior and Dolce & Gabbana. The intricate embroideries she had championed in those humble workshops in Pakistan ended up shining brightly under the spotlights of major fashion shows in Paris and Milan, adorning runway masterpieces. Aysha, ever humble, jokes that she should have paid for this experience myself. It was her real fashion school, a masterclass without diplomas, but with live, high-stakes practice where any misstep could indeed cost her a nascent career. It was intense, exhilarating, and deeply authentic. After finally obtaining her American citizenship, a moment of profound significance for any immigrant, Aysha returned to New York City. But this time, she wasn't a financier, returning to the familiar canyons of Wall Street. She was a woman with a mission, armed with a newfound passion, invaluable experience, and a clear vision. In 2016, in the beating heart of Manhattan's famed garment district, a neighborhood that even then was struggling to survive, the brand AYSHA NY was born. Her goal was audacious, especially in a crowded market, to dress the current and future leaders of America. She wanted to create clothing specifically for women who were just like her, ambitious, strong, intelligent, and most importantly, decision makers. This wasn't about following trends, it was about empowering a new generation of women. The brand's DNA was crystal clear from day one. It was power dressing, but reimagined, stripped of the traditional, often masculine patterns that had dominated corporate attire for decades. Aysha wanted a woman wearing one of her jackets or dresses to feel powerful, not to mask herself as a man to command respect at the negotiating table. She wanted the clothing to amplify a woman's inherent individuality, to give voice to her unique strength, not to suppress it. It was about confidence, not conformity. But there was another crucial detail, one that set Aysha NY apart in an industry often criticized for its practices: ethics. While much of the fashion world was chasing ever-cheaper production, moving manufacturing to far-flung countries with questionable labor practices, Aysha made a bold, contrarian bet on locality. 100% of Aysha NY's products are made right there in New York City. She consciously chose to work with local factories, with skilled artisans in her own backyard, actively supporting the struggling, yet vital, ecosystem of the garment district. She even went a step further, using fabrics from the dead stock of other brands, turning potential waste into beautiful new creations, minimizing her environmental footprint. It was a risky strategy. Manufacturing in New York is significantly more expensive. But for Aysha, it wasn't just a business decision. It was a matter of principle, a deep-seated commitment to her community and her values. The real test, however, was still ahead, waiting just around the corner. 2020, the year the world changed forever. The pandemic hit New York like a tidal wave, turning its bustling streets into a desolate ghost town. The garment district, already teetering on the brink, was pushed to the edge of total destruction. Small factories, the lifeblood of the industry, closed their doors one after another, their hum silenced. Many people, even close advisors, urged Aysha to reconsider. Aysha, leave. Move production overseas, or you'll go bankrupt. You can't survive here. She faced an agonizing choice: survive as a business by betraying the very values upon which her brand was built, or stay and risk losing everything she had poured her heart and soul into. Aysha, true to her fighter spirit, chose the latter. She chose the fight. She publicly declared that she was staying in New York, a beacon of defiance in the face of despair. She didn't just maintain local production, she doubled down, tightening the brand's control over sustainability and ethical practices. This pandemic pivot, as she called it, became a moment of truth, a powerful demonstration of her unwavering commitment. Her clients, her community, and the industry at large saw that her values were not just carefully crafted words on a website. They were a deeply held conviction, a position the founder was willing to pay a very personal price for. Today, Aysha NY is not a sprawling, global conglomerate like Dior or Chanel, and that, ironically, is its main strength. It is a niche, but incredibly loud, voice in the world of ethical luxury. Aysha Saeed has created something far more significant than just a fashion brand. She has created a role model, a living testament to authenticity and purpose. It is the inspiring story of an immigrant who, through sheer will and vision, went from desperately wanting to fit in to creating a form that helps other women boldly stand out. Her path, from the spice-scented streets of Lahore to the quiet suburbs of New Jersey, through the high-stakes world of Wall Street, across oceans to the fashion capital of Milan, and finally back to the vibrant energy of New York, is more than just a journey. It's a profound act of integration. She masterfully combined the intricate artistry of Eastern craftsmanship with the sharp pragmatism of the West. She fused the disciplined focus of finance with the boundless freedom of creative expression. She proved, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that you can be a wildly successful entrepreneur without ever having to turn off your conscience. For the women who make decisions, who lead, who inspire others every single day, clothing from Aysha is more than just an outfit. It is a symbol that power can be responsible, that luxury can be ethical, and that style can have substance. It is clothing for those who are not afraid to look themselves in the mirror and truly see who they are. Aysha Saeed often repeats her mantra, "I don't want to regret when I'm 80." And looking at how her brand is not just changing women's wardrobes, but also transforming lives and breathing new life into New York's historic garment district, it's safe to say, when that moment comes, she will have a lifetime of triumphs and unwavering authenticity to remember. She didn't just try. She won, staying profoundly true to herself every step of the way. If you're standing at the threshold of change right now, if you're afraid to leave stability for a dream that feels too big or too risky, remember the girl from Lahore. Sometimes the biggest risk in life isn't the risk of failing. The biggest risk is living someone else's life, never truly knowing what your own incredible potential is capable of. Aysha Saeed made her choice, but what about you? If you want to discover more inspiring stories of people who changed their lives, click on subscribe button right now.